we've been watching the numbers with real concern, both the community cases and also those active in the community. We believe that those figures are still too high for a full return to face-to-face learning for Year 12. So the softening, the improved flexibility for principals to be able to determine what is appropriate for them to do in their schools, in their communities, with the staff they've got available is a most welcome step forward.
What consultation have you had with the New South Wales government about an alternative return date for in-classroom learning for those Year 12 students?
We've been providing information to the Department of Education on an almost daily basis around our concerns and around what needs to be in place for that to occur. There wasn't a lot of planning in advance around what a successful return to school might look like for Year 12, but we've been having really productive conversations over the last week, and we're pleased at where we're getting to now. We still have concerns about the levels of COVID in the community, and it really is not safe yet for our students and staff who are returning full time. We've got to get that vaccination process in place, and I really strongly encourage all Year 12 students in those 8 local government areas to make sure that they do register when the information comes through, and they go to Kudos Bank Arena next week and make sure they get those vaccinations done.
So is there a date that you have in mind that would work?
Well, the information that we've been given from the authorities, including the Premier herself, is that it takes 2 to 3 weeks after vaccination for someone to be fully covered. So we'd like to be pushing back that date for a full return by at least a couple of weeks. We'd also like to make sure that we've got a majority of our staff also vaccinated, because at the moment it's only staff in the original 3 LGAs of Fairfield, Liverpool and Canterbury Bankstown who are prioritised for the Pfizer vaccination, and staff in other LGAs are having to source their own AstraZeneca shots. We're not sure at this stage what the coverage is across all of those schools that we're talking about. But the welcome news today was that flexibility that we'll be able to look at our staff, where they're coming from, who can get to school, because of course staff who are living in the LGAs, the 8 LGAs, aren't able to travel out to other locations where they might work. And of course that impacts on the ability to deliver to the HSC students. There's no point Year 12 being in class if their English teacher can't get to them and needs to deliver online.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you how teachers are feeling about what's taking place, because we had the Teachers Federation on last week and they're very angry about that August 16th date, saying that there hadn't been any consultation before it was announced and that it in fact went against the New South Wales own health advice.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of anxiety and confusion. There does seem to be that inconsistency between the message, the very strong message of workplaces and human interaction, how COVID is transmitted, particularly this very virulent Delta variant. So stay home, make sure you don't take COVID back home to your loved ones. And yet on the other hand, we're prepared to bring back thousands of students and teachers into the workplace where human interaction is the very essence of what we do. And that's why those clarifications today are welcomed. But the most important thing here will be for principals, now that they know they've got that flexibility, to look at their available staff, to look at what can be safely done to bring students and staff back at an appropriate time whilst we're preparing students for the HSC. The worst thing in the world would be to bring students back too early, bring the staff back too early, and then have people who contract COVID and then can't sit the actual HSC exams themselves in October.
It's a really delicate balancing act, isn't it? Because it is very important for those Year 12 students that they do have some face-to-face learning before sitting those crucial exams.
Look, this varies across the schools, across the Greater Sydney area. The feedback I'm getting from some colleagues is that online learning, learning from home, is working extremely well for the majority of their students, and that they're confident they can adequately prepare for the HSC if they need to stay in a learning from home mode. In other areas, particularly for those students who might be doing practical examinations, performance examinations, that will be important for the students to get back to school to work with their classmates as well as their teachers to prepare for that. And we can best do that in a COVID safe way, where we can keep numbers down, where we can ensure we've got that social distancing. And of course, if our students and staff are participating in the COVID testing that's been announced, but most importantly in the short term that all students get that vaccination done next week.